Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 10 of the Hippie Soul Sessions. Today is entitled, entitled, titled Worth Your Self-Worth. And we have Andrew Pover from Mates, Dads, Brothers, my partner in crime of 13 years now, not 12. So I'd like to introduce you to Andy P from Mates, Dads, Brothers. Hey, Andy.
How are you, sir? Thanks for having me on.
No problems. Again, I'm not paying you to be on here.
Damn it.
So your business, Mates, Dads, Brothers, is
Yep.
based around helping men find their worth and find their peace and their relationships within being mates, dads, and brothers. And your
Yep.
tagline is worth your self-worth. So tell me about that.
Yeah. Well, I think our self-worth with the tagline, I just think it's connected to like um, a lot of the problems and a lot of the things that we feel within ourselves because it's like probably a quick way to describe it would be, if our self-worth is very low, I feel like everything else in our life matches our self-worth. So if our self-worth is low, then, the amount of money we think we can make is going to be low. The quality of relationships that we have are going to be low. Whereas if our self-worth is high, then everything else in our life will match our self-worth. So, if we think highly of ourselves and our self-worth is good, then, we believe we're valuable enough to earn more money, and we believe we're valuable enough to have really good relationships. And that's why I think your self-worth is such an important topic for everyone to address, because I do believe it funnels down into the rest of your life.
Yes, it certainly does. And with both of our programs that we have within, I have the Awakened Woman, you have the Awakened Man, and we've written the curriculum together. Um,
Yes.
the first week was acknowledgement. The second week, which we're going into now, is worth. So, can you talk a little bit about what you're hoping to do with the guys this week with worth?
Guys, yeah, well, with worth, it's a kind of topic that I suppose you can approach it in so many different ways, but how I like to approach it is with the self-worth is you can read all the books, you can learn all the information, you can have as much knowledge as you want, but if you don't practice or implement the things that lead towards having a higher self-worth, then you're going to stay in the exact same place. And I think that's why we call it like doing the work, is you have to do the work yourself. You have to put yourself into that uncomfortable situation where you feel those emotions, you go back through your childhood, or you put yourself into these places where it's very raw, and it's very scary to feel these things, but that's where we can process it and move forward with it. And I think with the self-worth is you have to do the work. You have to implement these things for it to work.
So, what would be your number one tip to really help people see their self-worth?
My number one tip to see your self-worth. That's a good question. It's kind of like, what's the magic pill to fix it
Yeah.
all? The self-worth is it's it's coming to an understanding of believing it. You have to embody you have to embody it, that you are worthy, you are worth, your self-worth is worthy to other people. My number one tip for self-worth would be, if you don't believe in yourself, then why would other people believe in you? So
Yeah.
you have to lead yourself in your self-worth, because if you hold yourself of a high regard, other people will see that. It's kind of like how we talked about an acknowledgement in the first week. What you put out into the world is what you will attract. So if you put out
Yep.
into the world that you're small and you not taking up space and you're not worthy, well, the universe isn't going to give you opportunities because you're putting out there that you're not worthy of these opportunities.
Yeah. You're not
You're
ready for them. And
not ready for them.
you
Yeah.
you're actually showing people how to go about treating you. Like if you have a low self-worth, some people take advantage of that. Some people can sense it, they see it. So it's like showing people how you would like to be treated and showing the confidence.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. That's so true. It's yeah, that's a really good way of putting it, that you're showing people how you accept to be treated, because if you don't treat yourself well, then why would other people do it? So, and I guess
Yep.
that's the same as embodying it, matching your self-worth, and everything else comes to that level. And it's everything in your life: relationships, friendships, finance, jobs. Um, so yeah,
Yep.
you have to embody it.
And I think a big part of it is self-trust. If you can learn to trust yourself, you start to stack up your self-worth. And it could be small things like when I wake up, I'm going to have a glass of water. But when you wake up every morning, have that glass of water so that you build
Yeah,
the trust in yourself.
yeah. It's holding yourself accountable. So I think, you know, accountability, when you hold yourself accountable, it's like stacking the wins. If you hold yourself accountable for the way you treat yourself and doing the things that, I guess, give you that sense of accomplishment, it's those little wins that actually help build your self-worth. It's like a long-term goal is achievable from small, sustainable steps. And every time you do this little step that you can achieve, it's not a step that's out of sight. It's a small step that is achievable. When you do that, you get that sense of accomplishment, and that's what helps build self-worth. And it's just continually stacking the wins, and eventually you start building to a point where you're like, I can do this. I've got this. I am capable. Which
Yep,
all contributes to that self-worth.
exactly. And one of the things we go through in the awakened man and the awakened woman is how being grateful is a big part of that. Like showing your gratitude for the smallest things in your life and the large things in your life really does help shape your attitude towards life, which also builds in your subconscious. Gratitude is very powerful. Would you agree?
Yeah, yeah, 100%. Um, yeah, grateful. Gratitude's huge, because if you don't have that sense of being grateful for what you've got, then it's almost like it's a hole that can never be filled.
Yeah. I think
And
your camera just cut it. Oh no, you're back.
I'm back.
Back now.
Modern
Um,
technology.
yeah. The things that we've got in the awakened man and awakened woman is you got to have the tude with the gratitude.
That's right. That's
What
right.
are what's three things? Because one of the exercises is what's three things every morning that you're grateful for, and it could be small, it could be big, but what is three things that you are grateful for, right now?
The three things I'm grateful for: I'm really grateful for where I live, is one.
Yep.
I love where we live. The community's great. The location's great. I'm really grateful for my children, because I'm probably the biggest fan for my children, along with yourself, because I think we have the two
I was
most
gonna say not the
amazing kids.
biggest.
Um, yeah, I'm just grateful for our kids, because they're just the two coolest people I've ever met in my life, and I just so grateful that I have the opportunity to call myself their dad. And the other thing I'm grateful for is having an amazing, open, um, very thoughtful partner, because the person that I'm
Lucky.
with, I'm playing it safe. No, no, because I think it does help. It does help a lot. Like, I'm very grateful for you and how you view the world, because we do view it very in the same way. And you inspire me to sort of do better, and you inspire me in a lot of ways to how I view the world and situations, um, to to excel, and to be the best version of myself. And then when I do that, in turn, I feel better about myself. So they're the three things that I am very grateful for. Is where I
That's not
live,
what I asked
my
you.
beautiful children, and my wife, or girlfriend, partner, whatever you want to call this, soulmate.
Yes. Well, I'm grateful for you too, of course.
Thank you.
But that wasn't the
What are the
question.
other two things? It was the
Well,
question.
I'm actually the same. My kids, you, and where I live, my family, my
Yeah,
greater family as well. Um, my profession, like I love doing what we're doing right now. This is like I found
yeah,
my purpose. There's so many things, but they're my whole life. But even if in your life, if you have an area where you're not really happy in your life and you're finding it hard to find gratitude, what are some small things that people could use as their gratitude? What's some examples from you um, that they could use? Because like I when I go through tough times in my life, would be literally waking up in the morning.
yeah. Well, gratitude can be found anywhere. The simple fact that we exist, the fact that we're even here is, I think we were looking at the statistics the other day. Um, the statistics of the chance of you existing is 400 trillion to one. So the
Yeah,
fact, just let that number sink in, like
just
400 trillion to one.
trillion to one. We've literally won the life lottery. If you see it like that, like it's even
Oh,
harder to be born,
yeah,
like a trillion
yes,
times harder to be born. So when you
yeah,
look at it like that, you go, how lucky are we to even be experiencing what we're experiencing right now? And sometimes
yes,
that's like mind blowing enough for you to sit there and go, whoa, how many people like from you had to meet and procreate like out like this?
yeah,
It's mind boggling.
it is. And I think when you learn how to train yourself to sort of mind shift or shift your mind into thoughts like that and places of gratitude, it really does open up sort of how you project yourself into the world. Because if you start your day or walk into your work or party or friends or school, just however you carry yourself with that, the gratitude or the mindset of like how lucky I am, it really does change the way you view things. So the small things that you have, and even just at nighttime on a clear night, to be able to see the stars or to be able to look at like the beauty of the waves and the beach and Mother Nature, like the fact that you exist to even be able to experience seeing this, is
Yeah.
400 trillion to one. So like that's amazing, and I
Yeah.
believe training ourselves to have the mindset like this, it really does help improve and help you move forward with a lot of the things in your life. Because if you're grateful for what you've got now, it means you'll be grateful for the things you have in the future. Whereas if you can't be
Yeah.
grateful for what you have now, you know, it's almost like what makes you think you're going to be grateful for when you have more. Like,
Exactly. Yep. And it sort of puts it out there that you are grateful already. You're already happy with what you've got.
Yeah.
So you kind of open yourself up to be able to hold more as well.
Yes, exactly. It's exactly it.
And I also love having like-minded friends that you can talk about this kind of stuff with. I think that makes a big difference if you've got mates and brothers and family that talk to each other like this. It kind of builds each other up as well. Do you find that's a
Totally.
big part of your business, like mates, dads, and brothers, like friends coming together and supporting each other?
Yeah, I do. Well, it's about spreading the positive and not the negative. And what I mean by that is like a lot of the times, like you're saying, like just how like good it is to have conversations like this and how it does build each other up. That if we put ourselves in a position to surround ourselves with people that are like-minded and that are in the same frame of mind, especially in a positive way, it's spreading the positive. So talking about these positive things, because I think sometimes, or a lot of the times, when people come together, we tend to like, we kind of gossip and we nitpick about people and not to be sort of like cruel, but it just seems to be the general conversation of some people and sometimes where that's kind of spreading the negative, like instead of coming
Mm.
together and sort of discussing the things that we don't like, we very rarely come together and discuss things about what we do like, like how many times do we come together and talk about a coworker at work, but talk about them in like they're amazing. I love the way they view the world. I love how kind and generous they are. I love just them as a person. And I'm grateful that I've met someone like that in my life. You know, instead of being like talking about a coworker at work and it's negative. They did this. I don't like this about them. I don't like how they did that.
A
That
lot of
seems
the
to
time,
be a
there's no
more
resolution
popular.
either.
No, there's not. And that just it's like instead of celebrating the wins, like we're celebrating the negatives, but it's like celebrating the negatives goes downwards, where celebrating the wins lifts us up.
Yeah. And what do they say? Exceptional people talk about ideas rather
Yes.
than anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, growth and possibility. And I think that's part of like the topic we're talking about is being self-worth. That's what self-worth is seeing the greatness in ourselves, seeing the higher version of ourselves and being grateful for what we have and it's spreading that positive but for yourself. Um and it is work. It is work because we all have off days. We have days where, we feel like we can't see it or if something happens, it kind of knocks us down a little bit. But putting these practices in each day, it almost just becomes something you do subconsciously. And when you can do it on a subconscious level, it just helps us grow and feel better. I don't think anyone who's truly succeeded, say like financially or business wise, or any major success of someone famous that we know, has got to that level from being a very negative, self-viewed person. To get to that
Yeah.
higher level, we have to see ourselves as someone who is capable and who is
Yeah.
deserving of that. And it all
Yeah.
comes down
And
to, for me, doing it.
we were discussing the other day how sometimes you need to talk about, like, you need to have a vent. Sometimes there's
Yes,
certain things that happen that you need to have a vent, and there's a difference between talking about people and finding someone you trust and being able to have a vent, because
yes,
otherwise things could happen in your life and you never be able to say anything about anyone ever. So there's a very like difference between the two, and I think sometimes people get that mixed up.
yeah, yes. And it's understanding like the safe place, like time and place to do it. Like having a vent is very healthy. It's kind of like, it's like journaling, but with your words. It's, saying it out loud, it's expressing it, it's getting it out, it's processing that emotion and trying to let it go to sort of get it out of our system. So, we can come back to like a rational state. But it's a very important process is to feel our emotions. And I think, yeah, you're right. Like people get caught up in wanting to have a vent and then, you know, complaining. It's time and place, and I suppose that's where what we've created with, you know, Sair Zee confidence coaching and Mates, Dads, Brothers is it is the time and place. This is the place to come to process our emotions. We are all on the same page. You know, we're here to better ourselves, and I suppose that's the importance of having that community of like-minded people.
Yes. Yeah, 100%. Well, thank you for coming on Hippie Soul Sessions. We'll have to wrap it up
Thank
here,
you for
but
having
I
me.
loved talking to you.
I love
So if
talking
you
to
want
you
to follow
too.
Andy, if you want to follow Andy on Instagram, it's Mates, Dads, Brothers. And on Facebook also, it's Mates, Dads, Brothers. And you can also
Yes.
follow me, Sair Zee _ on Instagram, or Sair Zee Women's Confidence Coach on Facebook. Thank you very much for coming, Andy. Loved having you.
Thank
Love
you for
talking
having
about
me.
self-worth.
Yes.
It's Sair Zee signing off for another episode. Make love, not war with yourself. Peace.